Hello everyone, my name is Yiqing. Today I would like to share my work in collaboration with my advisors, Ristenpart and Naaman, on measuring adversarial Twitter interactions against political candidates. This is a presentation for ICWSM 2020. You can find the slides and the paper all on my website. Twitter is an essential platform for political candidates, where they can connect with their constituents, express their opinions, and campaigning for their race. Ideally, on Twitter, one can receive constructive feedbacks as a process of democracy. However, in reality, there are many adversarial interactions against political candidates. Such kind of political interactions aim to silence the political candidates and sometimes may even drive them out of the race. This kind of consequences are very important to our society and very important to our democracy. Therefore, in this work, we aim to measuring adversarial interactions against political candidates on Twitter. In specific, our work has mostly two parts. First of all, we aim to quantify directed adversarial interactions per candidate using automatic detection tools. While using these tools, we acknowledge that there are limitations to such kind of tools, so we aim to discover candidate-specific adversarial interactions in order to understand the part of limitations. Our study shows that overall attention is the main predictor of adversarial interactions a candidate receives, while candidate party or gender are not significant factors. Also, adversarial interactions may be subtle and tailored to their targets, often missed by general language detection tools. Compared with previous work, there are two lines of works that are similar to our work here. First of all, there are works that aiming at measuring general adversarial interactions. Differently, our work looks at directed adversarial interactions at candidates. Also, there are previous work who have looked at categorizing general adversarial interactions, while here we focus on discovering candidate-specific adversarial interactions. So let's talk about the first part of our work. Our framework consists of three steps. First of all, data collection, and then identifying adversarial interactions. In the end, quantify directed adversarial interactions per candidate. We collected the US midterm election Twitter dataset in 2018 for this study. It includes 1.7 million Twitter interactions with validated candidate accounts from 786 candidates running for US House of Representatives between September and November. You can find the dataset on Figshare. Also, you can find the link on my website. We define adversarial interactions as behaviors on social media that intended to hurt, embarrass, or humiliate a targeted individual. The scale of our dataset doesn't allow manual evaluation of each tweet. Therefore, we used toxicity scoring from Perspective API to identify adversarial interactions. We took several steps to validate this approach. You can refer to the details in our paper. While we are able to identify utterances with toxicity, it is, however, hard to understand whom this adversarialness is directed at. Taking this tweet as an example, candidate Omar Navarro tweeted about his opponent, and then someone replied to him being adversarial but directed at his opponent. Therefore, it is important to understand whom is directed at with the certain adversarialness. To solve this problem, we use directionality with party preference. We developed this method based on the heuristic that when the user party preference is the same as candidate's affiliated party, the user is not adversarial directed at the candidate. We infer the user party preference using features that has been used in previous work, including hashtags in user profile, retweet patterns, and following patterns that they use. So now we are able to quantify adversarial interactions directed at each candidate. We are interested in answer the following question. What candidate characteristics attract more directly adversarial interactions? In order to understand this, we use a linear regression model to predict the estimated directly adversarial interactions per candidate. With control variables, we choose attention received by the candidate from opponent users and number of followers they have. We also include candidate attributes such as the gender of the candidate and then the affiliated party of them. Our linear regression shows that only the control variables has significant predictive power in terms of estimating directly adversarial interactions. The candidate attributes are not significant in this sense. While we were able to using automatic detection tools to quantify directed adversarial interactions per candidate and answer interesting questions, we acknowledge that there are a number of limitations of general adversarial detection tools. Taking this particular case as an example, US Representative Ilhan Omar was the center of many controversies. One of them includes that people thinking that she married her brother in order to get into the US. So many of the interactions with her being adversarial and mentioning her brother in an adversarial way. However, sometimes these kind of interactions are often not picked up by general detection tools. In order to find this kind of mentioning of specific terms that are only adversarial to a particular candidate under certain circumstances, we use the following framework. Such framework is based on Sandprop, which is a previous work by Hamilton et al. Published in 2016. It consists of 3 steps. First of all, we construct a user term graph for each candidate, and then we assign weights to the adversarial users. In the end, we propagate weights from the adversarial users using a random walk in order to find the terms with high adversarialness. Our user term graph has 3 kinds of edges and 2 kinds of nodes. The nodes include the users and the terms that have been used interacting with the candidate. The edges include user-user edges, which shows the following relationship, the user term edges, which shows that the term is used by the user, and the term edge, which used to represent the similarity between semantic terms. So using this method, we were able to find the example that we raised before. So in conclusion, in this work, we developed methods in order to quantify direct adversarial interactions per candidate. Although our method was able to identify direct adversarial interactions, it still has a number of limitations. Therefore, we developed a new technique to discover candidate-specific adversarial interactions. Our findings are overall attention is the main predictor of adversarial interactions, while candidate party or gender are not significant factors. In the paper, we also listed a number of adversarial interactions that are subtle and tailored to their targets, often missed by general language detection tools. You can find our sister work in categorizing Twitter users who engage in adversarial interactions against political candidates, published at CHI 2020, on my website. If you have any questions, please email me. Thank you.